So basically, the world's turned upside down in the last 3 months. I have one friend who says it's like we're living in 1917, 1929, and 1968, but all in 2 months' time. It's a crazy time. It's almost impossible for me to predict the future. I have no idea what my business is going to do over the rest of the year. So when we have this kind of uncertainty, what should we be thinking about? How should we be deciding about how to move forward in our business? I know some people are kind of hunkering down. They're saying, hey, I know what's worked for me in the past, and so I want to keep doing that thing. I want to push further and push harder and just kind of do more work in the same direction that I've been on. But if that hasn't been getting you where you need to go, if that kind of pushing and struggling has just been depleting you, has left you more burned out than energized, then I gotta say, it's actually a good time to make a change. I mean, when the tables are turned over, when all the cards are thrown up in the air, why not make a big change? Why not take a critical look at your business and say, what are the things that are not working for me? What are the places where I need to make a dramatic difference in my business in order to move it forward? Now, that might seem like a risky change at this time, but I would actually argue that standing still might be the riskiest thing you can do in the middle of a global pandemic and social unrest and the biggest depression that we've seen in 70 years. Now, I know that there's a time when I got to a place in my business where it was sort of successful, where I'd grown to know a little bit of what I was doing, where I got some success, some money, some traction. And whereas in the beginning, I was willing to make a lot of changes, I was willing to take a lot of risk, then all of a sudden that additional success or that the beginning of success actually made me very risk adverse. I didn't want to lose ground. I didn't want to go back to the startup phase that I was in before. I wanted to keep going into that growth phase. And the challenge right now is that fear of losing what you have might keep you from making the change that you need to make in order to move forward. Again, if where you were in your business before all this was happening was just sort of getting there, not really making the money that you wanted to make and actually putting in a lot more hours than you wanted to put in, doubling down on that doesn't seem like the direction you want to go. So, strangely enough, in this time of huge turmoil, it might be the perfect time for you to make some changes in your business, to take some risks to try to move things forward. And if that's the place that you're in, I've got a mastermind group that's going to be perfect for you. What I've learned in my years of business is that change happens most consistently in a group, in a community, where you're around other people who are also making big changes in their business. My mastermind group is the perfect environment in which for you to try out some new things, to experiment, to learn from some other people. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I want you to do two things. First, I want you to go to anchoradvisors.com/growth-phase. That's anchoradvisors.com/growth-phase. And there's an assessment there that'll tell you sort of where you are in the growth of your business. And it'll give you some very concrete next steps about what kind of things you could be taking risks on to move your business forward. Once you get those results, go hit the contact page on that same site and reach out to me, and we'll get on the phone and talk about how we can help you to accelerate your growth along that path. This might be the craziest time that any of us have lived through in our entire lives, but it might just be the kind of crazy time that you need to move your business forward.